Alright, so today we're going to go over a project that I've been doing some research and wanting to work on. This machine is a 1996 Yamaha Wave Venture. Today we're going to remove the oil injector pump and replace the injector pump on the stator housing with a block-off kit and convert this machine over to Premix. So in order to do the job, you're going to need a gas tank to drain the fuel in, some fuel line, some quarter-inch fuel line to drain the fuel, two-stroke oil, a funnel to mix fogging oil, a screwdriver to remove clamps, 10mm box and wrench to remove the two bolts at the injector pump, dikes to remove zip ties on the fuel lines, the SBT block-off kit, the nipples, and the replacement bolts, a mirror to get into the tight corners, and last but not least, when the fuel is drained in the fuel lines, we'll go ahead and replace the fuel and mix it to a 40-to-1 ratio for this machine. Okay, so for this machine you have 6 bolts on the airbox. You're going to go ahead and remove those 6 bolts and locate the oil lines on each side of the carburetor. If you do have a maintenance manual or service manual, reference to those oil lines and the two back down at the bottom. Okay, so I wanted to show you that I got all the gas out. I was able to take 7 gallons of gas out of this tank. I put the clamp back on. Put your storage compartment back in. Shut that. I'm not going to be using that for now, but I wanted to show you that I removed also the air intake. There's 6 bolts here. Just go ahead and remove the air intake cover, and then I'll show you where the go ahead and move the filters out of the way. Set them off to the side. So the oil pump is right there. This guy here. There's 2 lines and a main line that come off the oil reservoir. The 2 oil lines come off the ends, and then one feeds through the manifold off to this carburetor. You'll be able to see that one. And then plugs into the end right here. Can you see that? And then on this side, this one plugs in right there. So you'll see the hole in the carburetor body where the oil spills out into the butterfly. And then it becomes atomized with the fuel. And you can see on this one the hole there as well. This guy. So as long as you follow this hole back to the 2 lines, then you could take it off. So let me show you the 2 bolts that we'll be removing. Let's stick this mirror down here. So if you could look at the mirror, there's 2 bolts. Let me get this cable out of the way. You can see the 2 bolts, 10mm. Those you're gonna remove those 2, and the cover is what you're gonna use to replace that pump there on the side of this. Okay, so the contents in this package come with these 2 little nipples here. Those are what block the ports for the oil injector ports. So go ahead and put those on right there. There's one right there. And there's the other one. Alright, as you can see, the old one's coming off. Right there. There it is, just popped off. The one that follows through the intake manifold. And we'll slide that guy out. It will no longer be needed. So now we have two hoses. If I could. Okie dokie, so I just pulled off the two bolts that hold the injector. And I'm gonna go ahead and try to wiggle this guy off. Alright, there it is. There's the back end of the injector. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to zip tie this pump out of the way. I'm going to leave it in here and the main hose still plugged in. And I'm going to take a new hose and go from here to plug off the outlet lines. And then I'm thinking I'm just going to leave the inlet line there and zip tie the pump out of the way. That way the pump can stay with the machine, and I don't have to open up the oil reservoir to zip tie the electronic flow for the meter on the gauge set. So it will always read full as long as I leave the oil in. I just zip tie this out of the way. I'll come back and show you how that works out. So in the kit you also come with this block off plate and then two replacement bolts that are going to replace these long ones. Set those aside, you may need those here maybe in the future if you decide to go back. But this is the cool block off plate it comes with. What I would recommend is, the kit did not come with a gasket, just go ahead and peel the gasket off of the oil pump that you removed. Okay, so as you can see, took off the two oil lines and just looped it. Now I'm gonna zip tie it to the reservoir and just set it aside. No need for it. Okay, so that's the nice oil pump that I zip tied off to the side. Shouldn't go nowhere. And then your nice oil pump block plate. Right there. Get a better view. And that's the oil block off plate. Okay, so another thing is these little nipples right here. I would definitely recommend, if they're not tight on the nipple, then to definitely use a zip tie over those. You don't want any back pressure blowing those off, and then now you have a vacuum leak. And same with that one. Definitely make sure you zip tie those tightly on there. Okay, so for the fogging procedure, we're going to use the Seafoam fog spray. In the instructions to use this, it says remove the spark plugs and spray down each cylinder for about 3 to 5 seconds, and then wait 5 minutes. So what I've gone ahead and removed the spark plugs and sprayed down the cylinders, 1 and 2, for 3 to 5 seconds. Then I'm gonna put the spark plugs back into the cylinder. We're gonna go ahead and start it up and get this fuel lines all primed and get it running. Once we have it running, we'll go ahead and hook up the water hose. Okay, so I've got the spark plugs back in and the key in the ignition. we're going to go ahead and remove these filters. Spray some of the seafoam down the cylinder. Okay. Put these filters back on. And pull the choke. Alright, so you want to let it run up for about 15 minutes. Let it warm up.